Well, thankfully, I know everybody on the call. How awesome is that? So I'm Leila, new at my home group, probably been here like a month. Hi, Erica. And I've been in real estate since 2009. I have done pretty well the entire time in my business. And so one thing about me is I always wanted to do something with philanthropy and humanitarian work. Before I got into real estate, I was applying for jobs at a bunch of nonprofits, and that's kind of where my passion is. And so I found a way to continue that passion through real estate. And so I want to share what I'm doing and why I do it, and hopefully inspire others to do it. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation, so I am going to share my screen if that's okay. So just a second. Okay. And for some reason, start at the beginning. Okay, so the topic of today's class is charitable giving in your business plan, and kind of going why today is more important than ever to be involved in giving back to the community and getting involved in social responsibility. I am the team leader of the Live to Give team. I just created that team maybe a week ago. But yeah, so let me get started. So right now, being a helper is super important, especially during difficult times. And I'm telling people to shift their mindset from getting to giving. And people are going to remember, with everything that we have going on with coronavirus and protests and riots, they're going to look at who was the helpers then. And Mr. Rogers is probably one of my most favorite people in the entire world. And he had this quote, which I think is really important right now. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. Fred Rogers. So, one reason that I started sharing about what I do is because the consumer rates real estate professionals pretty low. There was this report called the Danger Report that came out in 2015, and real estate professionals were ranked amongst one of the lowest professions out of every profession surveyed. And so I think it's important for people in our industry to take a look and step back and say, okay, what can I do different so that the consumer can, think better of us, that realtors can be good people and that we are good people. And so that's why I'm here today talking about it. By giving back to our communities, we're changing the public's perception of real estate professionals. And of course, I love Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world, which I live that mantra every single day. So right now, today, we're experiencing so much with coronavirus, the riots, all sorts of things, and people are wondering, what can I do today to help our community? And there's lots of things that you can do. So obviously we want to stay safe. So take those precautions when you're giving back to the community. One thing you can do, starting within your neighborhood and within your group of friends, is checking on them regularly. This is what people are going to remember right now. giving calls, texts, emails, video chats. If you have any neighbors that are elderly, they can't maybe go out to the store as often, be a service to them. As always, you can donate to nonprofits. There's a whole bunch of nonprofits that are going to be closing their doors this year because they cannot operate without the donations that they normally would be getting, and they can't operate without volunteers. So a lot of them are closing, which is super sad because they are important members of our community that help so many people out that need it. So reach out and continue supporting them if you can. Now, if you're not able to pay your mortgage or your rent, you've been impacted by COVID-19, you do not have to donate your last dollar to help. There's other things that you can do. Another idea is explore remote volunteer opportunities. There's a lot of things. So find nonprofits in your community that you align with and ask what things you can do from your home. One thing I learned recently is that coronavirus is affecting a lot of people who are getting it and getting sick, but there's also a big problem with people going hungry. I think that we've had more people in the United States and especially internationally go hungry and are dying of hunger more than ever so before, since these lockdowns and mandated closures, and it's affected our economy. So this is a great opportunity to have food drives and things like that to help in those areas of need. Programs like Meals on Wheels have canceled in a lot of areas, so delivering meals to help people who are elderly or disabled, or maybe someone that just had a child, that's a great way to give back during coronavirus. There's a shortage of blood right now. I think all the blood banks have no blood available. So donating blood or hosting a blood drive would be a great opportunity to get back to the community. And then also collecting and donating supplies to healthcare providers. They have masks that they're low in, hand sanitizer, gloves, things like that. So great opportunity for things that you can do within the community to make a really big impact. So social responsibility is something that I have a firm belief about. And I think that all of us need to, adapt social responsibility in our life and in our business. It's the obligation of an organization's management towards the welfare and interests of the society in which it operates. So getting more socially responsible is better for everyone. And so I'm going to go over some reasons that businesses adapt social responsibility and giving back into their business plans. So first, social responsibility builds reputation. So 85% of consumers have a more positive image of a company when it supports a cause they care about. So we each are independent contractors. So if you incorporated giving into your business plan, you would attract more people. People like to work with good people, people doing good, aligning themselves to do good. And but don't give back purely for that reason, because that's not the right reason to do it. But it definitely helps build your reputation within the community. Customers spread the word. So if you start adapting this into your business, they start talking about it. It causes a ripple effect. So businesses that host an annual charity event can spark a word of mouth campaign that drives participation and educates potential customers about the business. So one thing that I've adapted into my business is different events throughout the year, and I'll go over my business plan and how I've adapted charity into it. But just having an event, like you could do a Feed My Starving Children event, invite all your clients, everybody in your database to come, pack food boxes, and it's a affordable way to give back, and also a great way to reconnect with your clients. Research shows that 90% of consumers want companies to tell them how they're supporting charitable causes. It increases customer curiosity. And I think it's important to share what you're doing. I know some people said biblically you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to share what you're doing. But I think if it comes from your heart and you're truly sharing to encourage and inspire other people to do the same, I think that's fine. If you're doing it more to brag, I don't think that's the appropriate way to give, but it does spark curiosity in customers. So more customers switch. A survey shows that 91% of global customers are willing to switch brands to one associated with a good cause. So think about all the brands and companies that you align with, and look into them and see which ones are giving back and which ones aren't, and see which charities they align themselves with. It's really interesting once you kind of dig in deeper to see what other big companies that you work with are doing. And one of my most favorite things to do is getting my clients more involved. So research shows that 39% of Americans want to help businesses pick a charity that it supports by voting online or in store. So I used to let my clients pick a charity, and I would donate to them after every transaction. Now the Department of Real Estate doesn't like that. They consider it rebating. But if you have a list of 5 or 6 that you support annually, it's more acceptable. And so what I did is I surveyed my clients, and I wanted to see what areas that they supported. So what was popular was children, homeless, the elderly, veterans, pets. And so I aligned myself with 6 different charities within those categories after doing a lot of research that were local to my area that I have aligned myself with specifically, and my clients were involved. When I was doing it before and they were picking the charities, sometimes I would be donating to charities that I would probably not have supported before. For example, one of my clients wanted me to donate to the Ruffed Grouse Society, and it's this native bird located in Michigan that has basically gone extinct because of hunters. And so this society wanted to raise money to bring more birds into this area that they could shoot again. And I didn't really like that. So that's just an example of, when you're able to kind of look at the things that you're doing, you're able to vet the charities and really pick ones that you align with, which I think is important. Customers are more likely to recommend a brand that supports a cause. So again, referrals, things like that. People do want to work with people who are doing good in the community. So currently, there are 1.5 million nonprofit organizations in the United States. Helping and working with others can also give us a sense of feeling and self-worth. So it's really important when you're choosing a charity to pick one that aligns with what you like. Also follow the money. There's a really great website called GuideStar, and you can follow everything there to really vet the charities. Sometimes people say, well, every time I go to the grocery store, I round up, I'm donating to charity. And if you had looked into that, you would know that the company that writes the software for that program that rounds up gets most of the money, not the nonprofit organization. So really pick things that are in need of your contributions if you do decide to donate monetarily or volunteer. And I do think that it's important to pick things local to your area that you have a bigger impact. It is important to help the organizations that are national or international as well, but finding some locally is also really important. So ways to give. So first, I always say, if you can't give money, volunteer. Volunteering probably has the best impact to you from a well-being perspective. And it's how I started, and it's what I probably love doing the most is volunteering. Nothing changes the community for the better, like volunteers and volunteering. Another idea is you can host an event that you manage or organize on behalf of a nonprofit organization, and you can invite people from amongst your database. And then you could also start doing corporate giving, where you could donate $50 from every sale you do, or 10%, or whatever you choose, to qualified nonprofit organizations. And that's something I've adapted into my business as well. But again, if you don't have the money to do that, pick one of the other things to do, because there's plenty of opportunities you can do to give. So this is kind of an example of my business plan for this year. And so whenever we write a business plan, we are told to pick 3 to 5 key focus areas. And so I wanted to show you how you could incorporate giving in these different key focus areas that you're going to work in. Obviously, there will be more things that I'll do in these areas to help build the business, but these are the things that involve charity. So obviously, charity is one of my 5 key focus areas. So I'm going to donate to 6 charities on an annual basis. And then I will volunteer with multiple charities per month. And then for events, I'm going to have a biannual canned food drive. I will host a blood drive this year. I will host a Feed My Starving Children event, and I hold an annual costume drive. And then for open houses, when I host an open house, I donate to charity $5 for every person who attends. I promote it on social media so more people will come. I also will door knock the neighborhood and invite neighbors to the open house. And I always bring the brown grocery sacks from like the grocery store with a flyer attached and said, I'm also hosting a canned food drive. Here's a bag. It gives you an opportunity to talk to people at their door more than getting slammed in the face, and gives a purpose, and it gives you an opportunity to come back. And then on social media, this is where you have a really big reach. So share on social media about the work in the community you have been involved in. Ask your friends to get involved. You can also sponsor ads on Facebook where you can target people who are charity minded like yourself. And then another area of my focus areas is Sphere and Database, probably the #1 area where I have my clients come from. And so I will call and email my database quarterly, share with them what I have been doing within the community. And I also do pop buys monthly. I actually have done them weekly during COVID. But when I drop off the pop buys, I can say I'm hosting a food drive or an annual costume drive. If you have anything, leave it on your porch and I'll pick it up. So great ways to incorporate giving into your business plan. Any questions? Is this good so far? Am I talking too fast? Okay. So I think it's important when you're giving back, do it for you, do it from your heart. Don't do it to pad your resume or to get recognition or things like that. You need to truly do it from your heart and give to nonprofits or charities that you align with, that you're passionate about. You know, tell a story, how you got involved, and do it as social responsibility to your community. So the reason I'm sharing this with you today is the ripple effect. So the ripple effect is based on casting a stone into water and creating all these different ripples. So by me sharing today, it inspires others to do the same. And that's ultimately why I'm doing it, because I think it's important for agents to be doing good in their communities, getting more involved. I know in the past 11 years that I've been licensed, the same like 30 people to 50 people are the ones that are volunteering and giving back in our industry. And I really would like to see that change and that number grow, because I do think agents are doing good work in the community, but it's not being shared. So the consumer often thinks of real estate professionals as self-serving and cutthroat and backstabbing and in it for themselves. And that's not true at all. And I think that it's really important to, kind of take a step back through a lens of service and see where you can help out and give back. And you can get business this way, but it's not the reason why you do it. Of course, when you align yourself with other people like yourself, people want to work with you, but it's also just really good. I truly believe if you put good out in the universe, good will come back to you. And for me, I've never had to buy a lead. I've never had to worry about where my business is coming from. And maybe it has something to do with this. And we're going super fast. Hopefully we can have a mastermind after this. So again, like what Mr. Rogers says, look for the helpers. Giving is good business. Research has shown that giving and cooperating with others can stimulate the reward areas in the brain, helping to create positive feelings. There's been research that said when you get involved in the community, when you get back, when you volunteer, you're more likely to live longer. There's a lot of health benefits involved. So it's really good. I think as agents, we have a service mind. So this will come naturally to us, and it's really important. So hopefully you learned something from this. We kind of did this in a half hour. So I kind of want to open it up as a mastermind and how we can bounce ideas off and talk about different things. Also, one thing I didn't mention is when you're giving back, it's important to talk to your tax advisors to see if you can have any tax write-offs, things like that. I am not a tax provider or a lawyer, so I can't give advice like that. But yeah, so let's open it up for discussion. Kelly, do you want to unmute everybody? You there?
Can you hear me, Leila?
Hey, Erica.
Hey.
Okay. I don't know how to unmute people. Kelly, okay.
Sorry, I got a phone call from Mark and I was like, oh.
Okay.
What do you
guys think? You there?
I'm here. Who are you looking for?
So we kind of ended a little bit quicker. So I wanted to open it up like kind of as a mastermind and kind of run ideas and share what you've done and how it's impacted your life. So Erica, do you want to start?
I have not necessarily done something direct with, structuring it in this manner, I guess, or in giving. How once in a while you wind up paying for something towards the end of a closing and it's not an exciting item. Maybe it's like $100 or $200 towards some fee or something. So I think this would be a lot more beneficial and it would be more impactful, which makes it worthwhile. It is something that, and you and I talked about it about a year or two ago when I had that friend pass away, and I was looking to kind of try to start a nonprofit around single mothers. And it seems like in the digging that I've done on it, that it would be really time intensive to like set up my very own 501c3, the C3 kind of chapter for tax purposes and stuff. But I am thinking now, after sitting through this today, I could probably very easily go find one that's already up and running
Yeah.
that I could donate to in her name in some manner
Absolutely.
after
Yeah.
contacting them. So that's on my thought, process at the moment, because I don't necessarily know. And of course, it's not tax liability that you want to give info on, but I'm kind of curious, like how you've structured that, or is it just something you've just built into what you're giving as part of your commission?
Well, for me, I'd pretty much given 10% of my commission for probably 7 or 8 years. And for me, it was not necessarily the deduction. Pretty much the only deductions I get is if I do tax credits. So like the working poor, the charitable foster care, the private school, public school, those are
Right.
really the only ones that have helped me. But it has helped me reduce my taxable income so that I don't have to be taxed at the higher tax brackets.
Right.
So, but the benefits alone that I've seen, like I said, I haven't ever had to buy a lead or, just wonder where my business comes. My phone literally doesn't stop ringing. And I don't want to attribute it 100% to this because I work very hard too, but I think that it definitely helps, and I have taken a different stance recently, probably in the last year. Like I used to take pictures of the big check. I'm not doing any of that because I want people to know that I'm not doing this for recognition. I'm not trying to pad my resume. It's 100% to be involved in the community. The charities that I help, I have a story behind all of them, just like you do,
Right.
So, like for example, ASA now, I support them a lot. They're a foster charity, but they used to not be. So I used to be a foster parent. I ran legislation with them and fought for change, and then they became a nonprofit organization.
Right.
And so I kind of started with them from the ground up, and now they're doing incredible things, and I love to be part of it.
I've
And
also been thinking about doing something like for teachers within the
yeah,
area that I work and, am known working regularly. But I just finished up 2 years of being the PTRO president for Desert Ridge Junior High out in the East Valley. And I want to kind of continue and launch something different. So that's what I was planning to do last, at the beginning of the school, at really January of 2020. And then everything just sort of fizzled with COVID stuff,
yeah,
kind of gone crazy. So I'm just sort of getting ready to kick that back off as we go
yeah.
back into a school year and sort of just see what happens.
Well, and they
But,
and they need help, especially if they
oh,
can't
totally. Yeah.
share items and things like that. They're going to need a lot more,
Yeah.
and whatever they will have us go through. So, yeah, good ideas. And that service you did for the PTO for the junior high, that counts as giving back to the community. So you
Oh,
may not have
definitely.
thought about it, but all along, and you did Girl Scouts and things like
Yep.
that. That is giving back. That's
It's
your
the time investment.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a nonprofit organization. Like I talked to a girlfriend today and she's like, I help moms in the community, and I'm like, that's great. That's giving back, wherever you see a need, it could be pulling your neighbor's weeds,
Right.
Whenever you put good out, good comes back. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Tracy.
Hi.
Hey.
I had a couple questions. So you had mentioned that the Department of Real Estate doesn't really like you just giving to whatever charity your client wants.
Yeah, so I had always been doing it that way for probably for 3 or 4 years. And I took this class and they said, yeah, that's rebating. Commissioner Lowe essentially sees it as you writing a check to your client. And I said, but no, my client doesn't even get the money. So then I asked her myself, and she's like, yeah, you're going to have to do it differently. So I changed the way I was doing things. If you say, Tracy, that I I donate a portion of my income to charities within the community, it's the same impact, and you're talking about your income. You're not saying they have to buy or sell a home with you to do that. Your income comes 100% from people buying or selling a home, but you can't word it that way, because you're trying to entice them and you're trying to, ultimately rebate. You still can, like what Erica said, make donations in their name or in honor of them, but just kind of take it like it's your income, not because they did a certain task. And it's something you can have a discussion with your clients with at a listing appointment or a buyer consultation, but you just have to be really careful that it's not seen as rebating.
So do you have a list of the ones you vetted and then just have them pick from that list, or do you pick? Or
you could do that. What I do, which is simple, is I say, okay, these are my 6 charities. I rotate them twice a year. So this month you'll be closing on a home with me and I'll be donating to this charity. That way they don't have to pick. You can tell them about the charity, their mission statement, things like that. And you know what? I thought they would care about who I donated, and most of the time they don't. And like I said, you don't even have to donate, or you could start small, like $10 or $5 from every transaction. I am afraid to ever stop doing it. So it's been working for me, and I love helping. Like, I'm able to say, okay, from this check, I want to build a playground at ASC now, or I want it to pay for the landscaper to pull the weeds, or, I can see where it's going, which is really cool. If you do national or international charities, you can't really see the impact, and I like to be able to direct where I want it to go. Like Erica, you could say, I want my money to go towards school supplies for the teachers, so things like that.
And so if you say are doing 10% of your income, do you just at the end of each month or after a transaction write a check? Do you have it on the settlement statement at closing? How do you do it?
Yeah, so I have had it taken out of my check at Title. Title sends the check directly from them. And now I'm at a new company, so we're working on getting that changed at the new company. They just have me get the charity's W-9 so they can keep track of that. But that's what I've always done, and it's worked out really well. So
you do have it. Is it
it's
actually
on like the commission disbursement form?
okay?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I probably just need to talk to my broker about.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Bridget. Are you there, Bridget? Okay. I think I can see everyone. I don't know where those 20 people that registered are. Philip. They're all doing their own thing. Okay, Kelly, what do you have to say?
I'm turning myself back on. Sorry, I have so many people coming in my office. It's better just to turn it off. I guess I answer a little differently because I don't do much of my own real estate. So in terms of being a realtor, not much. But for the brokerage, I will tell you we're super excited for this year was supposed to be a bigger year to get into our own 501(c), but the year just went a little awry. So I will say for 2021, we are going to work on some plans to get a little more charitable as a brokerage. So look for those changes to come. We're also about to initiate an ambassador program here. So a team of agents that represent the population in different initiatives, decision-making, coaching, training, and they'll have a big part too in the charitable work. So all that is stuff we're working on in the background. It just kind of got derailed as a front burner with COVID. And then, we're working on a whole new back-end system and all this good stuff. So you probably could be a good liaison for us, Leila.
Yeah.
And Erica. So thank you. I love
Debbie, are you still there?
Yes,
Hey.
I'm here.
So I know you're really involved with the Humane Society up in Payson. After listening to today's presentation, what did you kind of get from it, and some ideas and what's going on in your head?
Well, for me, I was listening to what you said about GuideStar, and that made a lot of sense to me because Chuck volunteers predominantly at the Humane Society. I do the senior center, but volunteering for the Meals on Wheels, actually physically being there, I think will be good. And the veterans. And so, yeah, I can do more. And physically, that's my challenge, is to get out there more, but I have to be careful. But I like that, like you, I can see it locally versus international or global. And I know there's, other platforms that can help that. So I do choose to do local first.
I believe there's over like 1,800 nonprofit organizations in Arizona. And like I said, it's just really important to vet them yourself. I would recommend visiting them or talking to them on the phone, seeing, what projects they have planned coming up. Find something that's a true passion for you. If you like supporting pets, find something that aligns with that. If you would like to help veterans because you had a son or daughter serve, then find something that you align with. I think is really important, because it has to come from the heart. It has to be a passion. It can't feel like a chore. It will be fun. It is probably one of the most rewarding things. Like for me, because I do give back, I know the needs that the nonprofits I serve have, and they're far greater than what I can do, but it motivates me. Like I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I got to sell a house for my clients, but I also, by selling a house, it will help the nonprofit. So it motivates me to do more. And continue selling. It's what gets me up in the morning. It's my passion that drives me day to day to kind of help me achieve my goals. And so find something that you're truly passionate about. When you're sitting up at night thinking, oh, if I could just do more to help XYZ charity, it will encourage you to try to figure out ways, and we have such a big voice as real estate professionals, and the people that we work with come from all walks of life, different professions. So just, whenever you see a need or sharing, like right now, I've been sharing whenever someone's doing a food bank, or where people could pick up food boxes, because I have several friends that have lost their jobs, that have been furloughed. Maybe getting essentials like groceries are hard to find right now. And so just sharing those opportunities, being a spokesperson for charities, they can only do so much. They cannot do anything without the help of the community members. So kind of remembering that.
Absolutely.
Bridget, you want to unmute?
Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
So what do you kind of want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I know I can do a lot more than what I've ever done in the past. And ever since you and I have met, I mean, you really do inspire me, because I don't know how you do it. But I think it's, really just, like you said, having that passion and making it a priority. So that's one thing that I've really been looking at for myself over the last, I guess, maybe year or so, is really finding what I'm passionate about, as far as, who I want to help and contribute to and all that good stuff. So I've been doing little things, but not enough.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure we're doing way more than we think. There was a survey that the National Association of Realtors was doing, and they actually found out that 72% of its members are actually giving back, but the consumer doesn't know that, and people forget, like, serving at their church or at their scout group or at PTO counts, even you know, I used to play with a community orchestra that was all volunteers doing that, and it provided music for the community. You know, that's people don't think of things like that as giving back and being kind of community minded. So you know, I'm sure that if you kind of step back and look at everything you're doing, you're probably doing a lot more than you think. And people think, well, I can't give back. I don't have money to give back. And that's not where it should start. And if you never have money to give back, that's totally fine. You know, just being a good neighbor, you know, counts. Like if you went out and pulled the weeds for your elderly neighbor every single month, you know, that's going to, you know, bring joy to that person, and it's good energy. Like putting good energy out in the world is really important, you know, because you feed on that, you attract good energy back. So I think it's really important. And as business people, just, you know, do what you can. You know, if it's going to be too hard, you know, if like I was seriously sick a few months ago, you know, do what you can do, you know, and there was things that I learned that I could do when I physically couldn't volunteer that still created an impact. So and I didn't want to stop that, you know.
Yeah.
And I have been struggling, like recently a client of mine posted, like, you're not, like, when you do a good deed, you're not supposed to share about it. Like we see celebrities and stuff do that. And so I talked to like a local minister and asked him what that meant. He referenced a Bible verse, and he said, when you do it from your heart, it's from your heart. You know, if you're doing it, like he said, they've had people join their board of directors, truly to pad their resume, and that's not the right reason to give back. And so if you start incorporating giving into your business, do it for the right reasons, things that you truly love and that you're passionate about. Do it with your heart. Never expect anything in return. You know, I do think if you do put good out, it will come back to you. And, you know, I feel like I've been blessed all these years without having to worry about where my business is coming from. And I think partially because of this and the hard work that I do. So you have to do that too. You can't just do this and expect something. So any other questions? So what areas in your communities have you seen of needs right now today? Erica? Oh, you're muted.
So I couldn't see the unmute button without the glasses on my face. I know food has definitely been a big, you know, concern and need, and House of Refuge has been doing lots of different food drives. So I've been making sure that everybody in my little community is aware of it as need. I've not organized something because I've just been trying to also not put myself out into the population, I guess, too much. But I need to figure that out as we're moving forward here.
But you could send a newsletter to your neighbors.
That's what I'm
in
doing.
your community, and attach the food box distribution times are on Fridays for House of Refuge. So you could include that, or maybe if you have any apartment complexes in your area, or, you know, areas that might be hit a little bit harder, you can let them know, because House of Refuge is pretty close to where you live. So.
Yeah, they're right in the farm area that is, you know, that I'm working to build.
Yeah.
So I'm, you know, obviously promoting them, and they're great people, and that's where I've always taken any donations that our family has.
Yeah.
So it's a good fit for me at the same time.
Well, one thing you could do, Erica, when things start to get better and more healthy for us to get out there, is you can organize like a community garage sale, And then anything that doesn't sell, you can pass out a flyer where House of Refuge could come pick up everything, you know, and they will bring their trucks out if you have, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. And if you organize the route to know where the yard sales are, but I know a lot of real estate professionals that have had a lot of success doing that. Or
yeah, I used to do that regularly in Morrison Ranch years ago when I marketed it, and I'm kind of just restarting again for, you know, starting launch of new little farm area for myself. So all of those old tools are, you know, that's what I've been doing, is refreshing myself in the last, you know, couple weeks.
Another thing I've been thinking, so you've seen like these book libraries that people have installed in their like front yards. I've been seeing a lot more pop up with like canned foods and toilet paper. I've even seen in some neighborhoods where they have like a table, take what you need, leave what you can type thing. And that's a great idea as well, you know, and kind of gets you involved with the community.
Yeah.
So
would be.
All really, really good ideas.
Even up here in Payson, we've, in one of the subdivisions or developments, 3 of the women have taken to chalks on the street, on the sidewalks, writing with chalk, drawing with chalk. Kindness can change the world. Give somebody a smile, all kinds of stuff. And everybody in the neighborhood started talking about it, and it's puts a smile on somebody's face.
Yeah, we did that actually right here in my area too. See, I've already forgotten of some of the stuff that like I did during this pause of, you know, different things and slow. But yeah, we had a lot of chalk drawings pop up throughout the neighborhood too, and shared them.
Yeah, and the rocks that people are painting, you know, and like hiding them or dropping them off, like that brings joy to people. And that's one thing that I focused on during COVID. So I'm really big at doing pop-bys and sending cards out. So during COVID, I've sent out 1,200 pop-bys to my clients and 3,400 cards. So it's kind of a crazy amount. But I wanted to make sure that someone got something every single week, because, you know, when we turn on the TV and we turn on the Facebook or email, it's just negative things, you know, and just to have something kind of be positive in their life was all I wanted to focus on. I didn't care if they bought a house from me, sold a house from me, referred any business, just wanted to let them know that I was there for them. And hopefully it brought them joy. Out of everybody, only one person didn't like it because they were worried about contracting COVID from the things I was leaving. But yeah, I think there's, as agents, like during this time where it's super crazy, I think when it comes down to things and what's going to set us apart from others is when people realize, wow, like we were all going through this challenging time, and Erica was there for me, or Bridget was there for me, or Tracy was there for me, you know. And you know, that's really what's going to set us apart. It's going to change the way people look at real estate professionals. It's a reminder that we're just as human as they are and struggling as well with all these changes. And there's so much we can do. There's so much we can do from being at home, you know, and I think a lot of people forget that, you know, like just calling the nonprofits in your area and seeing what kind of help they need remote. You know, they might need help with marketing. We're great at that. You know, they might need help putting together Excel spreadsheets. Some of us are good at that, not me. But Bridget would be good at it. So yeah, there's lots that you can do from home. Don't let being home kind of put you in a funk. You know, you can make a positive impact doing simple things that, you know, have a lasting impact for generations to come. So I wanted to read this quote. Let me pull it up on my phone. So one of the basic attributes is the ability to take one's eye off of oneself in order to focus on contribution and adding value to the lives of others. So that's kind of where I want you to take this. Giving's contagious. It's the only contagious thing I want to have going on right now. Smiling's contagious. Kindness is contagious. Like, this world needs that so much right now. And hopefully you got a little inspiration to do a little good today, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. You know, there's lots of choices we have every day, you know, and that whole pay it forward mentality is great, you know, keep it going. So, and if someone does good for you, do good to someone else. So
Yay.
yeah, 5 more minutes. So check out GuideStar. Pull out your business plans that hopefully you wrote in January, and make some notes on some of those categories, focus areas. Like, that's how I always write them. Like, where's my business going to come from? You know, sometimes people pick one thing if they've read the book, the one thing. You know, whatever your focus areas are, like, figure out ways how you can add a few little lines of giving, you know. And like I said, if you financially can't give, don't, you know, it's not your time to do that. We all have different waves of our life that we can do things and we can't do things, but you can always volunteer. You can always be kind. You can always do good for people, you know, and it's so simple, you know. And I think that when you do this, I know that you're going to be blessed. I know that you're going to see a positive impact in your life. I know that it's going to make you feel good, you know. So that's my only hope for you, is to kind of keep it going and have positive vibes and, you know, help one another. That's what we're here for. So
Thank you for sharing.
yeah. I'm excited that I knew everybody on the call. I was hoping for new people, but hopefully there'll be more opportunities, maybe in person someday.
Yep, someday soon.
I'm really nervous speaking, so thank you. It was actually nice to have my friends here. Anything else, Kelly?
I don't think so. It was great. You have a couple comments that were really positive, that you're super inspiring, and Phil had to go, so he thanked you as well.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. It just makes you feel good. You're a good person.
Well,
Nice.
And Phil, he's new to Arizona, and he's like, I've never given in my life, but when I like broke things down with him, he's like involved with Boy Scouts and things like that. So like, there's more that we're doing that
Didn't you forget?
So like
Yeah.
you, Erica. Thanks, Tracy.
Yay.
Okay, well, have a good Tuesday. Do something awesome today. And remember, you're not in this alone. And if you ever need support, I'm here for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.